Sweet. All right. Taylor's got all of the personal fun conversations.
I got all the fun questions, dude.
Hey, it's Signal and Flow, the show where we hang with business owners and creative people to talk about their ideas and experiences. Taylor and I are hanging out with Chris Donley, perhaps Ohio's hardest working musician, playing with Critic City, French Dog Key, Sindus, Salvation Syndicate, and doing his own solo acoustic work. Chris, what is happening? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Gonna have some fun.
Yeah, dude, this is gonna be really cool. So, I've got all kinds of questions. Before we get into some of the questions that I have, I'm really curious on the music business side of things with you, right? And before we get into that, I need to hear some more of your backstory. So I'm gonna turn some of these questions over for Taylor for the first maybe 2, 3, 4 questions. Get some back in on you, and then my fun questions are gonna come in. So, boom, Taylor.
Gotcha. So how did you get started? What was the first project that you did?
The very first thing, well, I mean, way back when, I think I was probably 4th grade, some of my friends' parents all got divorced. So they're, the parents were trying to win the kids' love, basically. So all my friends got like drums, guitar, bass. So I was begging my parents for a guitar or something for years. And they're like, no, you'll lose interest in a month. And so I think finally in 8th grade, they got me like a crappy JCPenney guitar. And by that time, everybody else had pretty much quit playing except for one guy. But then, so I just kind of taught myself how to play. I still never actually had a lesson. I still want to take some lessons because I'm not very good, but I kind of write I write and play what I like. So I don't know. I've always been kind of scared of learning too much theory because I'm afraid it will change my writing style, which I know is probably silly, but then like I just wanted to play so bad that I quickly realized that bass players, singers, and drummers are usually the most in need. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I bought a bass and a bass amp, taught myself to play a bunch of bass, and it was like a school dance my freshman year or something. And somebody's like, "We heard you know how to play bass," and I was like, fake. I lie a little bit. And the first song I ever played live was like Longview by Green Day.
Okay.
And then those guys from that band that was playing the school dance called me the next week and said, "Hey, you want to be in our band?" And I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
So then so the first actual band I was ever in was called Chronic Boredom. I did not name it. I literally was the bass player. And what we used to do is we used to rent out this Grange Hall in Nankin and just put on our own shows. Like, I'm freshman, sophomore, junior. And, all our friends would come in, charge like $2 a head. And it was just an awesome environment, like it wasn't too crazy, but we were terrible, but we were stupid kids just having a good time, wanting to get away from, parents. And it was just a cool feeling. And the very first show ever, the singer came to the show and he's like, "I have a sore throat. You need to learn all these lyrics and play bass tonight." So luckily I had been already teaching myself how to play and try to sing too. So I did it that night. And then the next week at practice, I showed up and I'm like, "Well, where's the singer?" And they're like, "Oh, we fired him. You're singing and playing bass now."
Oh.
So
I'm glad I learned these songs then.
I got thrown into the singing thing totally by accident. And I don't know. Most singers will tell you they hate their own voice, and that's not uncommon because I hate my own voice. But I like listening to my own stuff.
Right.
It's just I don't know. It's a weird mental thing.
And you mentioned Green Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, who are your influences? Like,
as weird as it sounds, like I grew up like a total metal guy. Like,
I've heard. No, it's not weird.
Well, I mean, like I grew.
Music.
I was a total like metal, like death metal and like metal and stuff. Like, and then I somehow just started really just appreciating just different types of genres that a good song is a good song. So I got into like, just little like Jeff Buckley and like,
there you go.
and
Okay.
but then I kind of just whatever's good is good.
Yeah.
So then like I guess I just kind of that's why I do so many projects, because I don't want to get stale, but I still want to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? So like my solo stuff's more just poppy rock, although my latest solo record's more straight up rock, really.
Yeah.
But the bands are usually more heavier rock, but a little bit of everything, just so I don't get bored, really.
Right.
Yeah, I sent him a play. I just compiled a playlist of all of my favorite stuff that you've done, and some of your new stuff that I haven't really listened to or heard. And I sent it over to him. I was like, here's like a complete picture of who we're bringing in this week.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And dude, there's some awesome influences in those bands. And it's funny when you talk about, like growing up, like I didn't like not taking lessons or doing any of that stuff, having funny band names. I feel like that's just a common thing among musicians.
You didn't do that either? You didn't take lessons?
No lessons. Like, I just listened to an interview with Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters. And he was talking about like, he's like, I
pounded out in the garage.
Yeah,
pound it out
right.
in the garage. You got to suck for a while to actually, and I think it's totally true, but I do wish I would have taken some lessons, because
and I go back to that a lot of the time. Like I've taken, I took maybe 2 to 3 piano lessons to get like that foundational thought. And then I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm not going any further in this. I want to let I just want to sit at the piano and let like what happens happen.
Right.
And, that's that like by ear musician style thing. So I think a lot of your music reflects that too. I was talking with him, like some of the influences in like, Via the Sun. Yeah. Reminds me of like ADTR and like some of these more punk rocky bands. And then like you transition back all the way over and it's more like this, it's almost like Dave Matthews sometimes. And I'm like, wow, like there's some really cool, on like some of your acoustic stuff.
Right.
So, I love the dynamic.
Well, what's cool about like the guys I've been in the band with, well, that's Critic City. That's basically Via the Sun with a different bass player now. But I mean, working with those guys has been just easy and fun, because Steve and Derek are amazing songwriters too. So like the three of us will just kind of bounce demos and write and record so much. Like we're ready to do, even though we haven't even started really promoting the last EP, the next 3 are done. So I still got to do some vocals, but
do we get some inside dibs?
we literally, I think we had 151 songs to pick from to whittle down to 15. So,
whoa.
I mean, so we're talking about, we want to maybe start like a Patreon or something to see if anybody cares and then put some of the demos and the weird stuff like that up, So, I mean, I have the Patreon, but I'm still just kind of learning it too. And, I don't have too many followers, but I mean, I want to make sure it's worthwhile, because I put a ton of stuff up, and honestly, I didn't realize I had so much crap that
yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But it's a good thing, because like a lot of people will be like, man, I like hearing the demos. Like I'll have like a phone demo I'll put up, like that I literally just I wrote the song and I just kind of hummed a melody that turned into something totally different, and a lot of people will be like, it's cool how it went from that to that. And
I think people like holding on, especially like people that are really fans of you and your music. I think they like to hold on to that stuff. It's like a collection piece, it's this thing that's like, oh, I got to experience some of the raw part of this musician. If you ever like is mainstream huge or whatever it is, I think that's something. I manage a small independent label, and we did that. We took like 12 years of this artist's work, all of his stuff, and we packaged it up and put it on these little USB. They look like cassette tapes. He's like 90s hip hop type dude. So we packaged them up on that, and it's just like it's a little thumb drive that pops out, and people love it. Like, you sell them for $20-$30.
Well, that's the crazy thing now too, with everything digital, like finding a cool, tangible, original idea, like something like that. Like my one buddy had his like, if you get any CDs printed anymore, it was like the shape of like an old floppy disk. You know what I mean? So
that's cool.
But I mean, basically making the artwork somehow unique enough that, because dude, it's so tough.
Vinyl printing is
It's too expensive.
Oh my gosh.
And it's such a commitment to even like for me to buy a record player. I don't even
Right,
have a stereo
right.
at my house, you know.
Oh.
The record player we have around here, we ended up actually like we did a coffee montage and we made coffee on top of it. And like I'm like that, all right,
Yep.
I'll listen to my Doors record on it or whatever. But that's cool, man. You got more questions on the
Yeah. So, well, I mean, you kind of answered the one question for me. I was going to ask if there are any upcoming projects you can tell us about, and you kind of just did. So I'm super stoked for that.
Well, there's actually more though. So
Is there more you can tell us about?
Yeah, I mean, well, I just put out the new solo record on Groundhog Day, so I really haven't even had a chance to really promote it much, but I love the record. I actually did record it at home and then sent it to a buddy to mix, and somehow he made it cool. But that's out, and then like the new Critic City stuff, the next basically year and a half to 2 years of releases, because what we do is we'll put out the EP and then we'll put out a single, like 2 singles, and each single will have, you know, 1 or 2 songs from the EP, and then those 2 songs acoustic, and then we usually throw a cover on that too. And to be honest, like the singles have been doing well, and it's kind of been kind of cool, and I think they've helped like get people to buy the actual EPs too.
Your covers, by the way, I saw the Bad Guy cover. I saw the music video and I was like, this is incredible. This is just awesome.
Well, I love what she does. I like Billie Eilish a ton. And like, I don't know if you watched the Hulu documentary yet.
I haven't watched the Hulu documentary. No,
it's amazing. And she's adorable and real. And I don't know. I think she deserves everything she can get. But I brought the song to the guys and I was like, hey, I transposed this. What do you think? And then at first they're kind of like, but then it turned out the music turned out awesome. So I was like, all right. They usually always accuse me of trying to overreach, but I'm like, let's try to do a shot for shot if we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
And of course, there's some we couldn't do, but just because we don't have a budget or I don't know how to do green screen or anything yet. But but I mean, it was just fun to do. We literally shot it in one day, and I edited it in one night, and it turned out cool. It was fun. So I mean, we were talking about what covers we should be doing on the next singles, so that's going to be interesting because I haven't got to pick one yet, really, other than Bad Guy. That was my pick, but I mean, Derek picked Watermelon Sugar from Harry Styles on the last
great.
EP.
Great.
Thank you. And then Steve picked the old 80s Starship cover. And then we did the Aerosmith cover. Derek picked that one too. So I was like, all right, we need Ogre the bass player or Brian to pick the next single. And in the meantime, there is a pop record I did with my buddy Dallas from American Rockstar, who was also in Salvation Syndicate. That's kind of on the down low, but
it's not out yet. Okay.
And then there's a ton of other stuff I've been doing. Like I don't know.
That's okay. I got more questions.
All right, go.
Now,
it's just more stuff that I want to do for myself that no one will probably ever buy or hear, but who cares?
Dude, send it to me, please. I'll buy it.
All right.
So this is the Sergio question. What is Northern Lights?
What is Northern Lights?
What is Northern Lights?
Northern Lights was when I was in college. I saw a dude walking to class with an acoustic guitar, and I was just like, hey, you play? And we struck up a conversation and ended up getting along really well. And his roommate in the dorm was his writing partner, and they actually had like a little record that they put out. And we were later on, like the year after I met him, hanging out and everything. They had a house, and we used to go party over there and stuff, and they had a drum kit set up in the basement, and we just got drunk one night, and I convinced him, hey, I can play drums, and I can't play drums. And literally we did a record, and they had the name, they had all the songs. Literally, I just came in and tried to play drums and bass on the record, and we did a couple shows, and for years after that, actually, I still played with them when they we all moved kind of north. I
Mhm.
was actually in a cover band with those guys for years too, but I don't think that the Northern Lights was not a drug reference whatsoever because they never did drugs. I think they literally just liked the way the Northern
The
Lights
Northern
looked.
Lights.
That's
But
crazy.
that's pretty much what it was. It was just kind of a silly hangout, you know, but you know, I mean, they had a ton of fans on the few shows we played. Like, I mean, it was packed and the chicks loved them. So it was good that I was in the back with my drums because I just was this homeless looking long haired and so they had them up front. But
That's cool. Well, I'll transition it over because I have
Yeah.
many more, but we'll let him talk.
No, that's awesome.
if I'm talking too much, tell me to shut up.
No, you're
You're
good,
fine.
man. So I've got questions for you, like running a marketing agency the past 5-6 years, like my brain always goes to, like, the business side of things, and it's always gone that way for musicians. Manage a small time indie label. Is music your full-time gig?
Yes.
All right, cool. Have you ever been signed to a label? Are you signed to a label?
No.
You're all indie. Okay.
All indie.
Okay.
Had a couple managers, publicists through the years, but they didn't really do anything. So
Gotcha.
I just
So all managed by you too, yeah?
yeah.
All right. Have you ever been offered a record deal or a label?
We showcased a few times.
Okay.
We did a couple in New York and a couple in Cleveland, but nothing ever panned out. It was more or less by that time, you know, it seemed like payola was back anyway, and they were like literally saying, "Hey, if you get us $10,000, we'll get you a record deal." And it's kind of like, I'd rather just have the freedom to do what we want.
Right. The freedoms. So, is, like, as a musician, like, obviously you got to make income to keep things going. Like, where does your primary source of income come from? Is it streams? Is it merch? Is it?
It's all my solo shows,
Okay.
my solo acoustic shows. So last year did hurt quite a bit, but
Okay.
This year's looking up quite a bit because usually I play anywhere from like 100 to 250 shows a year. So I mean, I've kind of built a decent reputation with a lot of places, and when it comes to normal actual venues and also just bars, restaurants, and then corporate events, weddings even. So I can, if you want me to sass back to the crowd, I will. If you want me to just be background music, I will. So it's just whatever the night needs, I'll try to cater to.
Oh, Critic City will be at my wedding.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
100% you will be at my wedding.
All right.
You got like a year and a half to figure that out.
All right. You tell us what you want us to play.
Oh, hand me the reins.
That's awesome. So, and like this morning I was sending over because we're releasing some new music on the label I'm managing and going through all that stuff. And I'm going and I see they have this placement section under the distributor. And who do you guys distribute through?
CD Baby does everything. I mean, I've had friends that use DistroKid and other stuff like that, but honestly, like I go through disc makers. If usually we'll get maybe 100 discs made just because there's some people that want the tangible kind of keepsake thing. And, you know, I mean, I think, well, this time we only did 100. The last couple EPs, like we did 1,000, but, you know, I mean, it's tough to move anything anymore. Everything's free anyway. So.
Right. Yeah, that completely makes sense.
But
the streaming is just taking.
But yeah, CD Baby, we do the pro publishing, and so it gets out to, what is it, like 250 digital sites, I think.
Yeah, whatever.
Like
There's
that.
tons. I mean,
but we do it all, even unpaid, because the way we look at it, if anybody's listening to it, we don't care if they're paying for it. Hopefully they're going to buy some merch, or hopefully they'll spread the word, tell a friend.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're still, you know, DIY. Grateful for anything we can get, really.
Yeah,
so
sure.
If anybody's not cool enough, but if anybody likes what we do and, you know, help spread the word, of course we're going to be very thankful.
Yeah. Well, if it's something you haven't explored yet, so I mean, this is kind of like new. I didn't realize how much money was in it. I'm going through, and we're using this site called Song Trader. Same type of deal. They distribute, they do put the publishing out, and they have this section called placements where you can just like pitch your songs to get on. People look for them for TVs, commercials, advertisements. and you can pitch like certain genres and all that.
Is it like an upfront cost and then each pitch is a different cost too? Because I was a member of Taxi for
Okay.
a couple years and
All right.
nothing came about that.
I got you. That through our through Song Trader, it was like included with the membership of the distribution process and all that, so you didn't pay for it. But I was kind of surprised. It was like all the submissions were ranging between 1 to 3 to 5,000 to 10,000 per placement. I was like, holy cow! I'm like, I didn't realize how much even some instrumental music could be made or whatever if you just go in a studio and make that music.
Right. Well, I have done some jingle work too, so
okay.
That's been helpful on the side, and honestly, try to be the jack of all trades. Really.
Yeah, for sure.
Is it TRADR?
Yeah.
Okay.
Song TRADR, and they have their distribution process. We had all kinds of problems with DistroKid constantly getting.
Did you really?
Yeah. Getting things lined up with the proper artists and tagging artists the right way, like if it's featured. Granted, I work a lot in the hip hop industry, so there's always like samples or more artists or other just
to actually get the licensing on that stuff.
Yeah, well, and it's not even as much the licensing that matters. Just sometimes like the features that come in, because it's always like featured artists and all that stuff. It doesn't ever want to tag properly or do the right thing. So we're finally moving towards another medium, anyways, through an actual partnership label. Anyways,
the only thing we ever kind of came across that was making sure everything was set and ready to go way ahead of time to get on like Spotify, like that, and iTunes. Pretty much for the last two. Everything else was like up the day that we wanted to release. But I mean, we've been getting better at it.
Yeah,
but, dude, we're just a bunch of bums playing music. I wish I didn't have to do my own bookings and stuff. But
gotcha. And that makes sense. What advice would you have to
quit now? Become a veterinarian. I'm just kidding. What advice? I don't know. You're saying the upcoming musicians?
Yeah, upcoming musicians or other people that are maybe in the same boat that you are, where they've got honestly, a shit ton of stuff and they can't.
I would just say, no matter what, just do what you like to hear and always be, true to what you want to do, even if it's, noise music or like, just always do what you want and don't ever let anybody like try to change to fit any type of mold, I guess. Mm-hmm. Which is probably, my stubbornness is probably one of the reasons that, I'm not farther along. But I don't know. I think it's success is defined in your own mind. And the fact that I'm able to play music for a living, whether or not, some of the shows are covers and whatever, it's still pretty cool. I mean, I'm not making a killing, but I'm surviving. So I think you have to be unique in finding ways to stand out. Like you said, that the cassette thing, like when it comes to even like just the technological side of stuff these days, like you can literally be your own band with loopers and samplers and all that stuff if you wanted to. So, I mean, just be creative with it too, I would suggest. But I don't know, man. Deep down, I would
quit now.
Just quit now.
No, don't do that. No, I always get so mad whenever I go and watch you guys play, because
I get mad when I watch you guys.
Mad because like at the fair, and then it was at Riley's was the last time I saw you guys play.
Oh, that was a rough one.
Yeah, I'm always there. And I'm like, do these people not know who's on stage right now? Like, I don't know if it's bias or like, no, it's not bias, because I know your music and your music is good.
Well, thank you.
So I was like, why are more people not here, and why are these guys not up on their feet? What is going on? I can't tell if it's the town.
Well, to be honest, I didn't want to like. I mean, back in the day when Serge was running the Village Buzz and everything, like like Cindas had a really good crowd and everything, but I kind of didn't want to piggyback that at all with any of my later bands, because those guys aren't in any of those bands. Kind of just wanted to do it our own way. So maybe I should have, but I don't know. Another stubborn Chris Donley moment.
Well, dude, get a hold of us sometime if you want to. Please.
That's cool. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, my mind totally blanked out here, and I'm looking through, and I'm like, oh, some of my notes, my questions ended up disappearing.
So I have
So,
another
yeah, go for it.
what advice, but mine is, what advice would you give to someone about to play their first show?
Don't rush it. Make sure you stay in the garage or the basement before you actually get out, and just sound as tight as possible, because first impressions can make a big difference. And part of, dude, back in the Sindust days, we were just so excited to be playing out and everything. And I mean, and that was the thing, we were playing 150 original shows a year for 15 years, you know,
Right.
and just trying to play any and everywhere we could. But we'd have like a brand new song and we'd play it out the next week and it wasn't ready. And, you know, I would just say, take your time, have patience with it, and make sure you're ready, really ready, and then try to rip everybody's faces off that first show.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll piggyback off that too. How do you feel? How do you feel the trajectory moving forward? Obviously, 2020 was a very tough year for musicians around the board. How are shows looking for you in 2021? Like, what's your trajectory looking like?
Well, for Critic City and right now we're totally being patient, because I mean, we had numerous shows booked last year, and of course everything got canceled. So instead of like trying to plan ahead, we're literally looking to maybe fall, winter to even play the first show back. But we might want to do like maybe a live stream, and we're going to try to do a ton of videos stuff, and really build the content of like our YouTube page, and maybe try to get the Patreon going. But for that, we're really going to have patience with it, because I mean, all those guys have like actual real good jobs and stuff. So it's me usually being the one annoying everyone. Hey, when are we getting together? But for my solo stuff, I mean, I think it's filling up good.
Cool.
It's filling up good. I think it's going to be close to back to normal, but I'm going to try to be more selective this year about just playing anything, just because I really want to use my time wisely when it comes to, if I have a day off, I want to do more video stuff at home, or edit, or write and record. And so I want to, instead of just playing, even though I still will be playing a lot, I do want to try to do that and have time for other things too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that time's important. I think that time is really important for any musician or creative to just kind of, I think 2020 was a really reflective year for creatives to sit back and think about what do you really want to.
Yeah, to know that you're non-essential, and that literally artists and, you know, musicians, it's that line from Schindler's List, like where they're saying, what's your occupation? And the one guy's like, musician. And they're like, I'd find a better hiding space if I were you.
Right.
I don't know, man. Literally, it's like, what? Should I just go try to find a regular job? But I was convinced otherwise, not to.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
It's good support.
That's awesome, man. I think there's, and I'll have some conversations later too. I think there's some really cool stuff that you can, more creative avenues to make from the streaming game, the playlisting, and all that stuff. There's lots of really cool stuff I've seen artists make it through. If they get like they get put on the playlist, I mean, they can really start to, a playlist that has a lot of following can really take off a song, and get, you know, getting into those millions of streams can pay a decent amount of just recurring monthly listening income.
Right.
Well, the strange thing, when I was last year, during quarantine and everything, I started doing the Saturday night shut-in, where I'd basically just have a bottle of whiskey and just play, you know, on Facebook Live, Instagram Live and stuff. And then I went back and I literally just kind of edited the songs, you know, it was right through my phone, not the greatest quality, but I've been throwing a ton of those up on my YouTube channel too, and some of them have been actually getting some decent traction.
That's cool.
So, I mean, one night of the shut-in, I think I can get, you know, like 40 or 50 videos from, or songs from.
Yeah.
So, and not everybody watched those, but, you know, I think every little bit helps. So,
right.
And most of it's been positive. At least I'm not more thumbs down, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Instrument wise, then what's your like now? What like you just guitar and singing? You ever revisit the bass again or?
Well, for the new solo record, I played everything
Okay.
on it and programmed the drums, and he just mixed it.
Okay.
And he did awesome because I can't afford a real studio, you know, right now. But then in the meantime, I had written and recorded so many other songs that I was like, Critic City, you guys, what do you like any of these? And they're like, well, we don't really think they're Critic City songs. So I'll be putting those out probably like maybe one a year under the name Love Lag.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll write that down.
it's it's just more, I don't even know what it is. It's just rock. It's just still rock stuff. I mean, I'm a dinosaur, but
Hey.
I'll always still, you know, love rock stuff. I grew up on the metal, and metal's kind of a cool genre because it doesn't matter how old you are, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, metalhead's always a metalhead.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a really good well, not a good friend. I know somebody who's a pretty good friend. His name's Gun Drummer. You ever heard of him? He plays you can go check him out on Instagram. He plays guns to metal tracks. That's it.
Oh, I have seen that guy.
Yeah.
I've seen that
He's
guy.
right in Ashland. He's so Josh Coffey.
He's in Ashland?
Yeah. Yep.
What?
Yeah. And so
Wow.
I remember the day Josh Coffey, good friend of mine, business owner, downtown Ashland,
Okay.
owns Coffee Space, the co-working space. And he comes in, he's busting up laughing. And this is where I had most of my office marketing agency at the time was at his space. And he comes up busting up laughing. I'm like, what? And he shows me this video of
Dude,
him.
he blew up though, man.
Yeah. One video, it shut things down overnight. We're like, this is going to go viral.
Yeah.
And he did it to a Lamb of God song. And he
Right.
just comes out and he just starts
His machine guns.
with his
yeah.
machine
Yeah.
guns and blasting. But I don't know how I got on that tangent. But the
But that's
metalheads,
awesome.
you see.
But you're right though. Like one thing could change everything. Like that, and the fact that like we kind of have the power now.
Yeah.
And not, you know, I've never been the guy that wanted to get signed on the record label. I've always just wanted to put stuff out that I can be proud of, that I like. But the cool part now is like we have the power. You could with a
Yeah,
phone.
right.
I mean,
Yep.
literally,
Right.
if one thing hit, I mean, if there's probably enough people that would look at my back catalog and I would be okay because I've released 35 records or something, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
Right.
even if not all of it's good, I mean, I like when I found Fight Star, band from England. I mean, blew me away the first time I heard them, and I bought their entire catalog that minute. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
And I still buy it. So
Yeah, right.
I mean, who knows? Most people probably don't buy anything anymore.
Just pay that monthly streaming thing.
Yeah.
Right. And
Gen Z's afraid of commitment. I'm curious too. So what's your favorite instrument? Like, I mean, like, I'm sorry. Let me re-specify that. What guitar are you playing right now?
Electric. I still have this old piece of crap Epiphone Les Paul that I bought from a buddy of mine for $150 that I put Seymour Duncans in
Yeah.
and Grovers on the tuning, you know, and
Very nice.
it's lighter than a Gibson, and it's this sparkly gold that
yeah.
just looks cheesy enough where it's like I don't have to take myself serious, but I still love playing it.
Yeah.
That's the electric I play the most. And then my acoustic's a Martin. I don't even know what model.
Gotcha.
It's out in the car. So
Hey, the Martins are definitely where it's at. It's funny though. The Epiphones too. I love them. I have an Epiphone Wildcat. And it's like that yellow looking whatever. It's like the semi hollow body ones.
okay.
Threw some flat ones on it because I play a lot of like the more R&B soulful jazz
Really?
play through. Yeah, so it like those flat wound strings gets you that real.
To be honest, I've never been a gearhead.
Yeah.
I literally, if there's a pair of strings around and I need to change strings, I'll throw them on.
There you go. There
I
you
don't
go.
know. I don't know anything about gear stuff. I take horrible care of my stuff, and you know, I mean,
That's funny. That reminds me of my friend Brennan. He's a crazy good guitar player, but he's got like one of the like cheaper model Gibsons that like a Gibson I forget. And then he's got like an Ariat guitar. Shreds a guitar. He doesn't know anything about pedals. Doesn't know. He's like, just give me an amp. Let me plug in.
Dude,
let's do this thing.
I know dudes like that too. They're like they literally playing through like a little 112 speaker, and no effects whatsoever, and they're just so
Damn, they
amazing, and
shred.
you can't tell
Yeah,
that
right.
they're not using like fancier stuff. I mean, and then there's me. I just have to fake it with whatever I got. So
I'm even more on the fake it, and I'm like, oh, let's like learn it through this reverb and this compressor and do this thing here, and like now we got the sound.
whatever works, though, man.
That's cool, man. Well, do you got any more questions?
Is there anything that you want to plug that's coming out soon?
The next thing will probably, other than my newest solo record, the next thing will probably be, we're gonna be putting out the Critic City singles and the videos for that stuff, and then probably another Love Lag will be in the fall, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've literally recorded so many silly covers. I have like albums that it could be like 80s, a whole 80s montage, or an 80s album, whole 90s album, whole 2000s album.
Punk Goes Pop Chris Donley edition.
Yeah.
But they're more like just rock stuff.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wanted to actually do the entire soundtrack and score of the Karate Kid, like metal style.
That would be so cool.
Like, I don't know, like Leo from Frog Leap,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And
yes.
stuff like, but not maybe that metal, a little bit more accessible, but just more rock. But, and then like I also, I did record some of my favorite Faith No More songs acoustically,
Okay.
and sent them to my buddy Scott, who's in French Donkey with me,
Okay.
and we'll hopefully put that out sometime soon. And in the meantime, I want to put out like a ton of like the solo, really stripped down acoustic covers that I do that people have been asking me for years, but not that I really even have the money right now for the licensing, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Let's see what happens. That's cool, man.
And how can people find you online?
ChrisDonleymusic.com. It's DONLEY is ChrisDonleymusic.com. And then my Facebook and Twitter and Instagram are all, no, they're not. Facebook is Chris Donley Official, and then Twitter and Instagram are C Donley Official, I think.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Cool.
And then the Patreon is Chris Donley Music.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
we'll
We'll
tag
link
you
it
up
all.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get it all up in the show notes for everybody. That way you can come on. But dude, it's been a blast just getting to hang out with
No
you.
worries.
and
Thank you for
listen to
having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on,
Um,
man.
No worries.
So next up, I think we're gonna get you actually to play a song or two here.
Yes, I don't know.
This would be cool. All right. I think we're gonna have him play some songs for the Signal session on the flow. But hey, thanks everyone for joining us on the podcast today. And I'm gonna cue this outro track. And that's the podcast. That's a wrap.
Thank you.
There are two types of people left here in this world. You and everybody else confirmed. But you can brave the weather and you can make it better. It can't just be your circumstance. Try to lie and say I'm alive. How many times should I keep up this act and try? The weight of the world upon my shoulders. I should have told her upon my shoulders. I should have told her goodbye. How many times should I keep to myself my war cry? How many times could I, when I could simplify the weight of the world upon my shoulders? I should have told her upon my shoulders. I should have told her goodbye. Goodbye to everyone, goodbye. Goodbye to everyone, goodbye. Goodbye to everyone, goodbye. To everyone. The weight of the world upon my shoulders. I should have told her upon my shoulders. I should have told her goodbye upon my shoulders and my shoulders. I should have told her goodbye upon my shoulders and my shoulders. I should have told her goodbye. White shirt now red, my bloody nose sleeping. You're on your tiptoes creeping around like no one knows. Think you're so criminal. Bruises on both my knees for you. Don't say thank you or please. I do what I want when I'm wanting to. My soul so cynical. So you're a tough guy, like a really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy. Just always so puff guy. I'm the bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, might seduce your dad side. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. I like it when you take control, even if you know that you don't own me. I'll let you play the role. I'll be your animal. My mommy likes to sing along with me, but she won't sing the song if she reads all the lyrics. She'll pity the men I know. So you're a tough guy, like a really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff guy. I'm that bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, might seduce your dad type. I'm the bad guy. I once hypnotized the stars into forming one thing of beauty for all kinds, for everyone. That was all put together with the power of my mind, only to have me fight one of a kind that I could call mine. Look in my eyes so I can hypnotize. Look in my eyes. Look in my eyes so I can hypnotize. Look in my eyes. I'm looking up, you're looking down. I can't even see what's right in front of me. You can see all around. I'm looking up, you're looking down. I once hypnotized the stars into forming one thing brighter than the sun. That was all put together with the power of my mind, only to have me fight one of a kind that I could call mine. Look in my eyes so I can hypnotize. Look in my eyes. Look in my eyes so I can hypnotize. Look in my eyes. I'm looking up, you're looking down. I can't even see what's right in front of me. You can see all around. I'm looking up, you're looking down. You're looking down. Look in my eyes so I can hypnotize. Look in my eyes. Look in my eyes. Look in my eyes so I can hypnotize. Look in my eyes. Look in my eyes. Look in my eyes so I can hypnotize.
Wow.
Sweet is the sound echoing all around. Underground is where I found the mother of pearl, mother of the world. best place to begin.